Well, today we're going to be continuing on writing expressions, of course using let statements to describe them, and then we are now going to be solving those equations and substituting in for the variable. So the scenario that we've been given is that Alex has 3 more cookies than Jordan, and together the two of them have 11 cookies. Now it says very specifically here that I need to write 3 expressions. I know that stumped a lot of you, but you need to go back and look at your statements and decide what's the first thing you don't know. Alex has 3 more than Jordan, and then it starts talking about together. So we don't need to worry about that. We know exactly what we need to know in that first statement. Alex has 3 more cookies than Jordan, therefore we need to start with Jordan. So my first let statement is going to be let C equal the number of cookies Jordan has. And remember, these let statements need to be extremely specific. If they're not, you're not going to be able to look back and know what it is that you've been writing about or solving. Okay, the next one. Alex has 3 more, so of course more means addition. So we've got let C plus 3 equal the number of cookies Alex has. Now I know a number of you got stumped on this third let statement. Well, let's think about this. We know together. Well, that indicates that it's a total. And I'm sure everybody here knows how to find a total. You find a total by adding all of them together. So all of them in this case is how many Jordan has, which is C, and how many Alex has, which is C plus 3. So I'm going to add those together in my next let statement because that's the total, or the together statement here. So here we go. We've got let C, which is how many Jordan has, plus C plus 3, because that's how many Alex has. So that's the number of cookies altogether. So I now have written all 3 of my let statements. The first 2 describe how many Jordan has, how many Alex has, and the last one is that total. So there's my 1, 2, 3 let statements. I need to now go into part 2. Part 2 is going to reference my equation. So I'm now going to go back to this part here, the fact that the two of them have 11 together. So, okay, so here I am. I know that I have to write an equation. It tells me so right here that I need to write an equation. And I'll do that by remembering that the total equals the total. Now, I know a lot of you don't necessarily like to write it this way, but it does make it very clear where each part comes from. So if we think about the expression we wrote, the last let statement was describing the expression as being the total. I know that on this side I'll write the expression, which was C plus 3. And that, of course, was equal to the total that they gave us, which was 11. So on this side, the total is 11. They both mean the same thing. And now I need to solve this equation. So I do that by first combining like terms. I know that my variables are the same and my constants are the same. I'm not going to cross that equal sign. I do that later when I solve it. So now I know I've got C plus C, which is 2C, plus 3 equals 11. And now I have an equation that I can solve. So I say to myself always the question, what is the opposite? What's the opposite of plus 3? That, of course, would be minus 3. In order to keep my seesaw even, I need to put a minus 3 on both sides. Plus 3 minus C here cancel each other out, and I'm left with 2C equals 11 minus 3 is 8. I ask myself the same question again. What is the opposite? Well, here's the opposite of multiplying by 2. Of course, it's dividing by 2. Again, both sides to keep it even. And don't forget, this is how we write division in 7th grade. We use the fraction bar. These two, you should notice, cancel each other out. That says 2 divided by 2, which of course is 1. Leaves me with 1C, but we don't write that 1. We just simply write the C. That 1 is invisible. We can't see it right now. And then 8 divided by 2 is 4. So we now know that C equals 4. We still haven't found how many cookies each person has. So the next thing we need to do to substitute in to each of those equations now that we have a value for the missing variable. So we've got Jordan and Alex. The expression for Jordan was C. The expression for Alex was C plus 3. For each of these, because I do the same thing every time, I have to state what the value of the variable is. In this case, it's C equals 4. I do that every single time, so it's very, very clear what I'm doing to solve my problems. So C is a simple substitution for cookies for Jordan. And then here I substitute in for the C. I've got 4 plus 3, which is 7 cookies for Alex. Make sure you label them. And as an extra added check to ensure that I've done everything right, I can add these together. 4 plus 7 is, of course, 11 total cookies, which we know is what we should have. So that's just a little extra reassurance there that we've done everything correctly. So now I know that Jordan has 4 cookies and Alex has 7 cookies.